On to the last topic of the show. Rob Pelinka, LeBron, and his camp have had tensions. Tensions are high. It's been reported between them two. And the reported tension between the two parties stems from a quiet trade deadline that saw the Lakers pass on the opportunity to pass on All-Star John Wall from the Rockets. Now, it's important to note that John Wall is a Clutch Sports client. It's also important to note that in order to get John Wall, they would have had to trade Russell Westbrook and a first-round pick. LeBron then wore a shirt saying, "Fuck them picks," probably in reference to the Rams. And a lot of people took that as a jab at Pelinka because he wasn't willing to trade a pick to go get John Wall. So the question is, did Rob Pelinka make the right decision? Did he make the wrong decision? I'll start with you, Drew, since you're the Lakers fan.
I appreciate that sentiment at the end that I'm a Lakers fan. I really do. It means a lot coming from you.
Don't lie to him like that.
That being said, I don't blame him for trading the picks, truthfully. You look at it in the way that we are projected from here on out. 2027, there is a strong chance the Lakers are not a good basketball team. LeBron will not be on the Lakers by then. Anthony Davis, he might be on the team by then. Given the talks that have been happening, maybe they venture out and trade Anthony Davis. They're going to need that first-round pick. In 2027, that pick is going to be worth a lot more than John Wall right now. Because the scenario would be we're trading Russell and a 2027 first-round pick for a player who has not played all season, missed a lot of last season as well. I'm a huge LeBron fan. This is an obvious statement. But he's got to understand from the Lakers standpoint, they have a franchise that they have to at least look out for the long run. I understand that LeBron's window of playing at a high level is closer to coming than we realize. Mm-hmm. He's 37 years old. He's a free agent after the end of the 2023 season. He has stated already that he wants to play with his son wherever that may be. So his ties with the Lakers aren't beyond 2024 at the max. So it's very interesting that he's been this forward, this strongly outward of we need to trade these picks. You got to understand now that it hasn't happened, Russell Westbrook's on the team still. Russell Westbrook has to be looking at this in a type of disrespectful manner where LeBron doesn't want him on the team. And that's not something that, as the way that the Lakers are currently playing, is going to benefit them by any means. And trying to improve the way that Russell Westbrook has been playing, or improve the team chemistry that they've to a degree tarnished at this point in the season. I don't blame Rob Pelinka. I think that he has to understand that the Lakers need a future, and trading for Anthony Davis halted that future because they wanted to win now. And last season, when Anthony Davis getting injured, it hampered their championship opportunities. And this season, they've looked like a shell of these last 2 years of what the Lakers had looked like. And it's unfortunate that it's happened that way, but Pelinka's looking out for the future, and I can respect that truthfully, wholeheartedly.
I agree to a degree, and this is like the first time I've ever really agreed with you. I don't like.
You've agreed a few times on the show today.
No, you agree with me. That'd be
what are you talking about?
Y'all both agreed about Boston earlier.
You were backpacking with me, and we ride.
Pause.
Oh my God.
I don't think John Wall makes them significantly better if they would have traded for him. I get it. Like, John Wall's a much better defender at this point. He probably has a bit of a better IQ, but the shooting wouldn't be there. And I don't think, like, at this point in the NBA, bringing in John Wall, they would have had to figure out a whole other dynamic with John Wall. You might as well just try to figure it out with Westbrook. I don't think, like, giving up, as much as 2027 is extremely far, you know what I'm saying? You still going to need some leverage. You still need some picks because you never know what you're going to be down the line. And honestly, Westbrook in the first round pick is too much for John Wall, especially when he hasn't played in a bit of some time. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what you're really going to get. And he doesn't really offer much of what you really need. You need shooting, you need spacing, you need defense. John Wall only gives you defense, and that's if he still has that level of defense, So I think
he gives you some offense.
I'm talking about, I said shooting, space. He doesn't give you none of that. So I think, like, he just gives you another guy to handle the ball with LeBron. And realistically, you want LeBron just to be the primary handler and have shooting around him at this point. So I think, like, they made the right move because, honestly, And for the Lakers, if a trade didn't make you significantly better than what you were, then nothing should have been made. The best bet, like we were saying, was the buyout, and nothing's moving for them right now. So I think they made the right decision.
So I was one of the people that was kind of adamant on this, and as I've had time to sit back and actually think about it, it would be really stupid for the Lakers to do that trade, given the fact that. One, John Wall's still coming off 2 major injuries. We know he had an efficient 21 and 7 points per game season, but that was for one of the worst teams in the NBA. And then just giving up Russell Westbrook. We know Russell Westbrook's had his downfalls this year. He has been a shell of himself. He's looked bad. But just attaching a first-round pick for John Wall, who doesn't really fix anything, like Rivers said, that you're looking for. He's not a great 3-point shooter.
We need defense right now, really badly.
Defensively, I think he's still okay. He's not what he once was in Washington when he was an all-NBA level defender that he made a couple of those teams. But, looking at it right now, I think if Anthony Davis was in a better place, then it would be easier to make these type of moves. Anthony Davis, outside of that bubble run, that championship that they had, he was even injured in some of those games. Anthony Davis is a player that you have to hold your breath for every time he falls. Right now, he's out 4 to 6 weeks. Last year, he was hobbled. The whole plan was for LeBron and them to get a championship, which they did, and then just give the keys to Anthony Davis. But he hasn't shown that he's healthy or can sustain health for a long period of time, and that's hindering what Rob Pelinka could do. I think if Anthony Davis was still a top 5 player like he once was or close to that, it would have been easier to make this move. But now you got to think about your future, and it's not worth giving up a first-round pick, which you have none for John Wall, who's a player that, like Riff said, he's not going to fix anything. He shot 30% from 3 last year. His career 3-point percentage is 32. That's way below average. Defensively, he's not the same guy, and he just doesn't offer much floor spacing. He's a primary playmaker, but we've seen how Russell Westbrook and LeBron, who are both primary ball handlers, haven't really gelled. You're going to trade for him at the second half of the season when you're already in the play-in without Anthony Davis now because you have to account to his injury. It just made no sense, and it made no sense to make this trade, so I stick with Rob Pelinka in this. I think he made the right choice. I don't think you give away Westbrook in a first-round pick for damaged goods and John Wall. That's just how I see it.
I kind of see it from different perspectives. I feel like in this particular topic, my third eye is a bit open, and
Kyrie,
I'm seeing something.
What are you seeing, bro? What's up? What
the championship?
What I'm saying is that Westbrook in the first-round pick for John Wall. I mean, yeah, it's a bit too much for John Wall.
A bit?
But if I'm putting myself in Rob Pelinka's shoes, because sometimes you got to empathize like that, and I'm putting myself in his shoes, what are the alternatives? What are my options? If I don't trade Russell Westbrook and LeBron wants me to trade him for John Wall, probably going to get fired. I might not be here in 2027. Why do I care about the pick?
Facts.
Worst case scenario, I trade for John Wall. The pick goes. The Lakers they suck again.
That's the scenario.
If I'm Rob Pelinka, they would have sucked again.
You're saying he's fired either way.
Not even that. If I'm Rob Pelinka, I'm a chess guy. I'm like, hey, Genie Bus, look, this roster's bad. We got to make some moves. Look, I say let's trade LeBron. I say let's even trade AD. I get all those picks back. If I trade AD, I get all those picks back, and I can get us all-star returner picks.
You took this route. Okay.
So realistically, it's like I'm not going to see that pick anyway. I'm probably going to be gone because if the Lakers continue to be this bad, which is trending that way because they have no avenue of improvement, Rob Pelinka's gone. So worst case scenario, just make LeBron happy because that's all that matters, and he's going to power trip it. And now, you got Rich Paul mad, and you know what happens when that happens. So basically, just make the trade, and worst case scenario, just trade AD because I think AD is the one that can bring you 2 first-round picks at least with an all-star and a role player or 2. So because of that, I think probably if I'm Rob Pelinka, like job security-wise, this is the best way for me to secure my job. I'll make the trade. But from a basketball standpoint, it was a ridiculous trade. And if I know I'm going to be here long term, I would definitely not make the trade because John Wall doesn't make me a top playoff contender.
Nah,
at all.
he makes you what, an eighth?
So look, the Lakers have no avenue to improve. They're basically stuck. And LeBron is aging. We know he's still a great player, but he's aging. What do you do if you're the Lakers? Like, what is the solution? Do you trade Anthony Davis? LeBron, when his contract is up, is he going to walk away from nothing? Do you try to get it? Do you try and get at least something for LeBron?
Let me ask you a question.
What do you
Are
think?
you still trying to win?
If you're the Lakers, if LeBron's on your team, you have to always have to win. You have to try to win.
So my next question to that is, as much as AD's been hurt, does trading him get anything back that makes you a championship contender when both of those guys are healthy? I don't think so.
No.
LeBron and AD, I don't think so. I think you have to just keep building around them two and just pray to God Anthony Davis stays
Let
healthy.
me ask you something, though. Let's say AD's on the market. I'm the Lakers and I'm trading Anthony Davis. Just because the Knicks are my favorite team, this is the team that's at the top of my head right now. Just going to mention them. What if I trade AD for Julius Randle and Quentin Grimes and like a Quickly or an Alec Burks?
How many picks are you giving us?
I'll give you like one pick.
You got to give him two.
No way.
Because Quentin Grimes is going to be a starter in this league.
They're not doing it.
Maybe if you throw two in there, I think they say, yeah, protected though. Like top 10.
I think that makes the Lakers a bit of a better team because of depth and stuff. But
Grimes fits next to LeBron magically. Who else you said? Randall?
Alec Burks.
Alex Burst, he can finally just go shoot. Yeah.
You're giving
Randall.
us your first this year?
Randall.
Well, then the
It'll be
answer
next
is
year.
no.
It'll be
We're
next
not
year.
That
doing
team's
it.
not winning, bro.
We're not doing it.
The team is definitely not winning,
Yeah, I was
but
about to say.
We're not doing it.
It's up to LeBron.
And that's the
He
thing-
has to okay
And that's
it.
another thing
That's
that
true, yeah, he
I can't listen to trading AD because again, if you trade AD, you're basically saying to LeBron, you're screwed.
how else does the team get better though? Because
Agreed.
there's
You have to get rid of both.
There's nobody on the Lakers that can be traded for anything.
I agree.
The only
Outside of
person
them.
Lakers fans have been hoping for is that THT becomes something that now can be traded.
Yep.
But he hasn't.
He won't.
The thing is, so long as LeBron's on the team, they're not trading Anthony Davis. The only way that Anthony Davis is traded is if LeBron's no longer on the Lakers, which means you're going to have to trade LeBron as well. Or you wait until the 2023 season's over, and then you trade Anthony Davis.
They traded a lot of depth for Westbrook, man. In the grand scheme of things, that was terrible. That was horrible.
What can you do, man? It's over and
That's
done with.
terrible.
I mean, LeBron will be a free agent after next, like
End
after
of
this
2023.
offseason,
End
so-
of 2023.
Until next season.
Yeah. Next season.
End of next season.
But this is the thing with me though. If I'm the Lakers, I guess I'm trying to somewhat win with LeBron now because there's really no clear avenue to build a team to where you can win
Well, if you-
with LeBron within the next year. So if I'm the Lakers, I'm like, let me just trade AD, get an all-star player in return. Let me get some role
they're
players.
not
and
doing
now,
that to LeBron.
and now I'm going to have assets for the future at
Listen,
least.
Let's not
the logic.
You're
there.
saying to me, I'm not doing that to LeBron.
no, they're not.
I mean,
That's
they're
not,
not-
that's
they're
just
not-
what would happen.
You know, they're not doing that to LeBron, but what is LeBron doing for the Lakers? He's going to leave for
brought them a
nothing.
But let's
championship.
not forget that the more LA sucks, the more the Pelicans are smiling right now.
Oh, for sure.
Because they have their picks. So like the worse the Lakers get, the better the Pelicans get. Because not only are they getting better, they're getting picked.
They
after
trade
pick
AD and
after
LeBron, that
pick.
team's
So
gonna
it's
suck.
like,
I understand LeBron brought them a championship, but it was a 4-year deal. You know what I'm saying? Like, first year got hurt, second year brought a championship. Now this year they're not good.
It's LeBron.
you got
just
the-
gotta
you got
take
the
highs
ultimate-
Well,
and
last
got
year
the
they
ultimate
weren't
goal,
good. Now
though.
this year they're not good.
Last year they were good when they were healthy,
They were. But they also had a completely different team.
for sure.
I mean, shoot, at the end of the day, I mean, you got what you want. You got a championship.
You'll
You
take
got
it
a
to
ring.
the crib.
You got a 2020 championship, regardless of what anybody feels about this stint with the Lakers is a success just because of that ring.
I mean, next year LeBron's a free agent.
Yeah.
LeBron might.
But
dip.
also a counterpoint though is that if I'm a team, I'm not trading for LeBron.
OD. No offense, like LeBron's great, but I don't think you have to give up so much for LeBron.
Not at this point in time.
Are you crazy?
You're trading
LeBron
You're trading
James.
two first.
And
For
I'm talking about
LeBron?
players.
Probably.
That's for AD, bro.
We talk about LeBron, bro.
What is LeBron getting?
A lot of players in.
LeBron.
He's 37 years old.
Let's throw Cleveland.
doesn't
Let's,
matter.
let me ask you
dead
a
nice
question.
though.
All right.
Let's throw Cleveland on the table. What do you think they would have to give up to get LeBron?
Hmm. Picks.
That's it.
Nah, you're
LA's gonna want something.
You're gonna have
back.
to attach one of those young
yeah,
guys.
like something
Might
back. You'll
have
be
to
like,
too.
all right, we'll be okay.
Picks, Levert, Someone else? I don't know. I really can't think off the top of my head.
Levert picks.
I think Evan Mobley or
Sexton
somebody
sign
like
and
that
trade.
would have to go.
Mobley would. The Cavs aren't trading Mobley.
It would have to be Jared Allen, bro.
Levert, Sexton, and 3 picks. I'm sorry.
I'm
it's
laughing
not
at
enough.
that.
I'm gonna be
Yeah.
honest.
I'm
If
laughing
you
at
if
that.
you view Garland, Allen, and Mobley as untouchable, then the Lakers would have to get back Karis LeVert, Isaac Okoro, Colin Sexton, multiple first
Laurie
round picks,
Marketing.
and that still might not be enough.
That's not even enough contract wise. You got to throw Laurie in there. Yeah, that's the gut in the roster, bro.
No, I'm with you.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
think
why I'm
LeBron
saying,
should
like,
just play
what-
it out and just
That's what
visit this
that's
free
what I
agency.
think's going.
That's
to
why
happen.
I'm saying they should trade Anthony Davis because LeBron's leaving anyway, bro. The
wherever
Lakers.
Bronny go, boy.
If-
Again, but
the
they're
Lakers-
not going to do that to LeBron.
If the Lakers want to have assets for the future, because right now the Lakers don't have any assets for the future.
They gotta do what's good for
they
them.
have one first round pick in 2027 that LeBron wanted Pelinka to trade. LeBron is leaving after next year. Once he leaves, you're going to have nothing to build around.
I mean, he said
that's
that
why
he's
I'm
not going
worst
to leave.
team.
That's why I'm
He
trading
said
for
he wants to
Anthony
stay here
Davis.
for the long haul.
You don't want to be like the Cavs, bro. Or like you don't want to have your whole team gutted, after
and your
he
assets
leaves.
gutted,
Yeah, you
and
don't
he
want to be
dips
that,
on
bro.
you.
That's why
They're
I'm
in a good
trading.
spot now.
That's why I'm trading Anthony
Who? Who's in a
Davis.
good spot?
Cavaliers.
Well, yeah, years later,
When did he
Wait,
leave,
sign
bro?
me?
Oh, yeah,
2018.
years later.
He left 2018.
he did it twice. He gutted them twice.
You think he got them in 07? They didn't have much assets, bro.
Nah,
and,
bro,
and,
they had-
and it got him Kyrie Irving. They still had the number 1 pick.
That's
They
true.
had the
They-
number, they still
he
had,
got-
they
he
still
got
had
locked up
Kyrie
with Kyrie.
Irving.
They had
so-
the number 1 pick 3 years of that.
and they traded Wiggins for Kevin Love. Which
just
turns
like-
out to be a
and
good
You want to know
trade
what's the
now.
difference though? Is that when LeBron was in Cleveland in his final years, they didn't trade every single first round pick they had in the next couple of years.
No doubt.
Like the
Lakers
like
would
the,
not have a number
Cleveland
one
was
pick.
able to build because they were able to draft Garland, then Mobley, Sexton.
Get Allen on a,
Well, they got-
deal, on
they
a
got,
James Harden deal. Excuse
The
me.
Lakers traded that pick to the Cavaliers.
What pick?
Garland was able to go to the Cavaliers because of that trade. True or false? Am I wrong?
I don't know, honestly.
I'm pretty sure the Lakers traded that pick to New Orleans, and then New Orleans traded that pick to
You sure?
Cavaliers. I'm pretty sure. I could look
Garland
it up.
was after Sexton. You sure? They did
I'll
that?
look. I'm pretty positive about that.
Remember
But
Colin
let's
was
see.
like, I'm here, LeBron, come back. LeBron didn't come
Ain't
back.
nobody coming to play with you, boy. What's wrong with
You
you?
remember that, John?
What happened? Oh.
That's it.
No, when Colin Sexton was like, I'm here, LeBron, let's get to work.
I think it was the other draft, bro. I think it was the DeAndre Hunter draft because DeAndre Hunter was.
Why'd you
Because
laugh?
you're just, you're like, ain't nobody going to go play with you. You're so
Yeah, the Lakers had that pick and they traded it.
Oh,
okay.
thanks. You gave
For
him
AD.
Garland. Shout out to
That's
you guys.
tough.